This week, I continue my study of influential Black composers for organ. I will present 3 works, each featuring a different composer. George Walker was an American composer, pianist, and organist who was the first African American to have won the Pulitzer Prize for Music. He was the organist for the Graduate School of Theology of Oberlin College. He was admitted to the Curtis Institute of Music to study piano with Rudolf Serkin and composition with Samuel Barber. Walker graduated from the Curtis Institute with artist diplomas in piano and composition in 1945, becoming one of the first Black graduates of the music school. Walker's debut recital in Manhattan's Town Hall was notably described by the New York Times when he became the first Black instrumentalist to perform there. Over the course of the next 5 decades, he balanced a career as a concert pianist, teacher, and composer. 2 weeks after his New York debut, he performed Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto with the Philadelphia Orchestra conducted by Eugene Ormandy. In 1950, Walker became the first Black instrumentalist to be signed by a major management, the National Concert Artists. In 1954, he toured 7 European countries, playing in the major cities of Stockholm, Copenhagen, The Hague, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Lausanne, Bern, Milan, and London. Upon returning to the United States, he taught at Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana for 1 year, before entering the Doctor of Musical Arts degree program at the University of Rochester's Eastman School of Music. In 1956, he became the first Black recipient of a doctoral degree from that institution, as well as the recipient of a second artist diploma in piano. Walker was awarded both a Fulbright Fellowship and a John Hay Whitney Fellowship. He spent the next 2 years in Paris studying composition with Nadia Boulanger. Walker's academic career continued with faculty appointments to Smith College, where he became the first tenured Black faculty member. He also taught at the University of Colorado at Boulder as visiting professor, also at Rutgers University, where he served as chairman of the music department, and he taught at Peabody, at Johns Hopkins University, and the University of Delaware. As a composer, Walker's music has been influenced by a wide variety of musical styles due to his exposure to the music of Chopin, Brahms, Beethoven, jazz idioms, folk songs, and church hymns. Unwilling to conform to a specific style, Walker drew from his diverse knowledge of previous music to create something which he could call his own. Most fitting in this difficult time in the history of our country, I will play a piece written for organ by him entitled Prayer. I hope you enjoy the music of George Walker. William Farley Smith was an authority on spirituals, their origins, history, and use for the church today. His work is represented by a large number of spiritual arrangements and hymnals across all denominations, most notably adapting and arranging each spiritual, over 40 in total, in the United Methodist Hymnal of 1989. You will hear his organ arrangement of the spiritual By and By as a background to prayer next Sunday. Fela Sowanda was a Nigerian musician and composer. Considered the father of modern Nigerian art music, Sowanda is perhaps the most internationally known African composer of works in the European classical idiom. Sowanda went to London to study European classical and popular music. In 1936, he was solo pianist in a performance of George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. He also played as duo pianist with Fats Waller and was a theater organist for the BBC, and organist and choirmaster at Kingsway Hall. Sawanda became a Fellow of the Royal College of Organists in 1943, winning the Limpus, Harding, and Reed Prizes. He won prizes at the University of London and became a Fellow of Trinity College of Music. He also worked as a musical advisor for the Colonial Film Unit of the Ministry of Information during the Second World War, providing background music for educational film. He was a renowned organist and choirmaster at the West London Mission of the Methodist Church, and a considerable amount of organ music dates from this period. These were based on Nigerian melodies that gave a special appeal to the black members of his congregation in the early years of migration from the African continent and the Caribbean. Also during this time, he became known as a dance pianist, band leader, and Hammond organist. He also wrote a significant amount of secular and sacred choral music, mainly a cappella. In the last years of his life, Sawanda taught at the Department of Pan-African Studies at Kent State University. There is currently a move to set up a center to research and promote his works, as many remain unpublished or are out of print. I will close the Catalina worship service on Sunday with his marvelous setting of Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho. It's a well-known African-American spiritual. The song is believed to have been composed by slaves in the first half of the 19th century. The lyrics allude to the biblical story of the Battle of Jericho, in which Joshua led the Israelites against Canaan. However, like those of many other spirituals, the words may be also alluding to the eventual escape from slavery in the case of this song. And the walls came tumbling down. The closing portion of the tune, sung to these words. It is the most memorable portion. The notes plunge emphatically and impart a glorious sense of collapse and of triumph.